And this is where I'd like to make the introduction to Jan, because she has such a beautiful story. For the previous 2 hours, she has just overwhelmed our people. And Shelley, will you please tell us how you met Jan and let her share her story?
Jan is amazing. She's a former porn actress that God sent me because I'm tired, to be honest, being the only voice out there for a while. It was very hard to stand there and take all the bashing and lashings, and nobody believed me, and I said, Lord, you've got to send me help. And all of a sudden, he just sent me this beautiful angel, Jan, and God has done a miracle in her, but I'll let her tell you what happened.
Well, I came from a broken home. Like Shelley was saying, a lot of the people who get into porn are from broken homes. My dad was a weekend dad. My mom, even though she loved me very much, was very strict and figure things out on your own, do your own thing, basically. I had no idea what a real relationship was supposed to be, what love from a man was supposed to be. I had no sense of purity in that. And even though I hadn't had sex, around 14, I just started really drinking and hanging out and partying, and I met a guy who I thought really cared about me because he showed me attention, and he just constantly flattered me, and he ended up raping me, taking my virginity that way. And so that just worsened everything in my mind. I was like, okay, I'm going to do whatever I can to use men like they use me, and use it to my advantage, but I was still being used. I was still being played. And I met my ex-husband at the age of 15, and we were very promiscuous. And I think in the back of my mom's mind, she kind of knew but didn't want to deal with it because she wanted me to just deal with everything on my own. And ended up getting pregnant at 17, had my daughter at 18. My ex-husband didn't want to work, and so I felt like I needed to be the sole support. I was the problem solver. And even though I had been raised in a Christian home and God was in the back of my mind, I needed to do this my own way. And so I started doing topless massage and dominatrix work, and just, he was okay with it. It didn't even cross our minds that it was wrong. I mean, we were providing for my daughter, and then we had a son, and then we had another son, and so he just let me do it. He just basically was my suitcase pimp and said, well, go out there and make money, and I'll stay here. And he didn't even really take care of the kids. And I just felt like this is what I needed to do. I hated myself for it, and I hated who I had become. I didn't even know me, but I knew that I was putting food on the table for my children. And I mean, it went on and off like that for a couple years. I tried to go back to college, did some courses here and there, and I went to church, but God didn't mean anything to me because of what I was going through, because of who I had become. I felt like nobody was there for me. Nobody understood me. I was just lost. I was hopeless. And in 2006, I had divorced my husband, and I had full custody of my kids, but it was the same situation. We needed money, and I needed to provide, and I wasn't making it. So I decided to do my first adult film at that point. And it was $300, sold my soul for $300, but I put food on my children's table for another week, and that's all that mattered to me. And again, I didn't feel like I had anybody to turn to, so it was a necessary means to me at that time. About 8 months later after that, I was in the same situation. No money. It wasn't coming in quick enough, so everybody who had seen my movie from before was like, you were great in that, and they're just boasting on it and telling me that I should do that. And so I decided to do it full force, and got involved in the industry, and I was just devastated. I was sick of myself. I couldn't look at myself in the mirror. I began to drink heavily and take painkillers that I was taking from my back because weight was an issue for me. I was in a niche where you had to be heavy set. And so I started trying to lose weight, and it was held over my head. And those kind of movies that cater to that industry, in particular inside of the adult industry, they want you to be heavy. They want you to be big. They try to feed you on camera. They talk about your weight. They degrade you. And they make you believe that that's all you're worth, that you have no worth, that you have no value. And I had people telling me how much they admired me, and I'm like, for what? I don't understand. I just don't understand how you could look at me and see something special, because I didn't believe in myself. I didn't believe that I was special. I didn't believe that I deserved anything. And, I would look at my kids and it would break my heart, because my daughter is the eldest, and I didn't want a life like that for her. I could never imagine her doing the things that I had let myself do and justified it just because I needed to provide. I was heavily used by producers. I started doing my own website. A husband and a wife convinced me that it was the best way to work for myself and never have to deal with the crap in the industry again. And they hurt me more than anybody else in the industry did. And I was just so desperate and lost that I was going to kill myself. And I decided that it was enough, that my children would be better off without me, that everybody would be better off without me. Nobody would miss me. Nobody would care. It didn't matter. And I got on my knees and I said, God, please, I know you love me. I know you're there. And if you can hear me, and you really love me and see value in me, help me. Because I can't do this and I need to live. I want to live. And that's when I went online and I started looking for help. I actually typed in porn help and found Shelly.
Amazing.
Hallelujah.
And I didn't trust anybody, but God told me. For the first time in a long time, I actually allowed myself to hear him, because he was always trying to talk to me, but I never listened. And I said, okay, I'm going to trust her. And I reached out to her and told her my story, and she jumped in right away to save the day.
Amen.
And Shelley, you've been a missionary to those that have been in such a dark, dark tunnel. And I just thank God for you and Garrett doing this. And I have some pictures up here, and I wish you could be sitting right at my side. Jan, former porn star, 40 movies, transformed by the power of God. Carly with her little baby, former porn actress, 200 movies, left porn. These are people God used Shelley to touch. Jenny, former porn actress, left the sex industry. She attends church regularly and is renting a room from a Christian family. Carrie, Lila Lay, 600 porn movies, who found freedom. Tanya, 100 porn movies. And this is the story of grace. And I don't know about you, but aren't you thankful that Shelley and Garrett, her husband, and her children are going right back into the domain of darkness, pointing out Jesus Christ can be saved and delivered. Now, this is what is just so amazing to me, and I want you to hear this because we want to cover her in prayer as she goes. You know, as we said a moment ago, the church sits on the sidelines, the average church, and does nothing, and then it produces a preacher that says, well, this is okay. Well, in real Christianity, God takes Shelley out of it, transforms her, and now she's going to the adult porn conventions. And Jan's with her. San Francisco, Las Vegas. And the trade shows have the latest pornographic tricks, and all the actors are there. And Shelley's there ministering to these men and women and handing out Bibles and telling them about a God who can change and deliver them through the power of Jesus Christ. And she's doing it. And I love it.